These are all the books that I read in the year of coming out of religion, also coming out as gay. There's some that I don't have in person right now, which is the Harry Potter series. As many ex-conservatives or conservatives may know, the Harry Potter series was somewhat hotly debated in the conservative and Christian circles when it first came out as something that was possibly demonic, something that was, you know, perhaps the work of the devil, something that if their children read could lead them on to performing satanic rituals and demon possession and all sorts of scary things. So you understand why those parents would not want their children to read Harry Potter, which mine did not. They thoroughly believed, I do believe, that they were demon-possessed books. As a young adult sci-fi and fantasy author, I've been trying to find good young adult sci-fi and fantasy to read, and I have yet to find really good young adult sci-fi and fantasy. So I was very, very, very happy when I'm reading Harry Potter to just be completely captured, completely fascinated immediately, of course, as everyone knows, because everyone's read them. I'm also loving the character of Hermione. She's been added to the female characters that I think are written really well, and that's great. And then I started watching the movies. I started crushing on her super hard. One of the next books that I read was Be More Chill. I actually just found myself relating a lot to high school stories as soon as I left religion and as soon as I left my little bubble, because I was finally like put in the position of going through things and experiencing things that I feel like most people experience in high school, you know? I was homeschooled and not really socialized, sorry, it just wasn't. And so in my 20s, coming and leaving that community, I started experiencing a lot of these sort of coming of age type of events. This author is Ned Vizzini, and he has also dealt with a lot of mental health issues. When I've dealt with depression and anxiety like my whole life, and then when I totally left religion and, you know, came out as queer and all this stuff, it was like skyrocketed. So I really appreciated reading from someone, from an author who really understands mental health. That leads on to the next book. After reading that book, I think I read in the back of it, it has a ad for another one of Ned Vizzini's books, which is called It's Kind of a Funny Story. This book couldn't have come at a better time. It's about a teenage boy. He, you know, is planning to commit suicide, and he finds this like suicide hotline in the back of a book and calls it, and they recommend for him to turn himself in to this mental institution. And so he gets, you know, he goes to inpatient care, and this whole story is just him there. It's in first person, it's really detailed, and somehow it's just like so encouraging. It was just very like, not needlessly romanticized or dramatized or anything, just like how saying it how it is. Very cool. This is Nerve, and it's just a book that I picked up. I was trying to find a bunch of sci-fi and fantasy books written for young adult audiences. There's this girl who like signs up online to play this online game where they're just like, they dare her to do these different things, and she keeps going riskier and riskier to get more attention and more views. And I was relating with it a lot because I guess right before I left religion and everything, I was growing a lot in my social media and my blog and my YouTube world, and I was feeling that that rush that I think people feel a lot when they first get on YouTube or social media and stuff, and that pressure to like excuse me, keep compromising who you are just to get the more attention and more views and the high of that. And so this was like an extreme version of that, and really talking about how toxic it ended up being. Yeah, it just made me want to keep trying to be more myself. Another like childhood book that I always wanted to read was Artemis Fowl. It was, you probably have heard of it or read it even, and I used to see ads for it when I was a kid, like on the movies we would watch, and I thought it sounded so cool. A 12-year-old who was a billionaire and a genius, and he like talked to fairies in this weird other language. It sounded so cool to me, but of course by the time I read it I was 24, so it might have been lost on me a little bit. It wasn't my favorite book ever. I thought it was funny that like this kid was just like this hard-hearted, like basically Bruce Wayne, like crime fighter guy, and it reminded me a little bit of like CL if you've seen Black Butler, because this kid who's like a 12 is like rich and snobbish and cruel, and then he has this butler who's just like badass ninja fighter. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It was a sci-fi novel that I've always wanted to read. It's a very good, I don't know, newly atheist sci-fi fan, you know, semi-nihilist read. I found it super hilarious. I've already seen the movie with my girlfriend. She showed it to me pretty soon after we started dating. And I remember my dad saying that like it was a really bad movie when I was young. Of course, they were against a lot of like just non-Christian movies back then. I just loved reading it. I thought it was like really funny. It's got so many like references and like jokes about just like the meaninglessness of existence and stuff, and like jokes about people trying to find meaning and all these things, but somehow doing it in like such a lighthearted, like funny way that it's just perfect. It was just the right thing at the right time. It also reminded me that I just need to get into like adult fiction in general, because I said I was having a hard time in the young adult section. Maybe that's because I'm becoming an adult. This is just called Being Peace. This is actually a book that I borrowed from a friend to start exploring, I guess, Buddhism and Eastern religion and just like mindfulness. Because as I left Christianity, I did feel a lack of like connectivity to the universe, I guess. I don't know, I felt very directionless. It was a really scary like adjustment period. So I started seeking out other like spiritual, so to speak, like things, ways to stay mindful and meditative, ways to handle my, you know, inner peace and all these things that a lot of times can be dealt with sort of with religion. And it's been cool. It's just kind of telling me the story of the Buddha a little bit. Found it really just relaxing to read and really reassuring and peaceful and like really good tips. This is a fun one. It's called Opening Up, a guide to creating and sustaining open relationships. So as a queer individual moving to Austin, Texas to date people, and as a queer individual who was 24 and had not ever been allowed to date anyone when I was growing up, got on Tinder and just started like dating like crazy. And then I met someone I really liked, who's actually my girlfriend now, and she told me that she was polyamorous, and explained to me what that was. And I was like so excited about that idea, because I was like, okay, I like this person. Does that now mean I cannot continue to explore in the way that I've been wanting to, like seeing other people, seeing what else I like? You know, I've barely started exploring. So I was really excited about that. I got into it right away, started dating several different people who were also polyamorous, and then learned that it was like a very prevalent, I don't know, a very prevalent lifestyle, at least here in Austin, and then also in the queer community. And so, yeah, I've been practicing that, and it's just been a really cool part of me finding my identity. I love everything about it. I love what it's helped me learn about myself. I love that it doesn't make me feel tied down. Before, when I was being raised as a girl in a conservative Christian place, I was told that I was going to grow up, you know, be somebody's wife, like we were going to be together till we died. It didn't matter what. You were not allowed to get divorced. That was like illegal. That was like God would hate you, and you had to have all these children, and this was just like your set, nailed down lifestyle, and you'd be stuck to that person forever, you know, and you could not date or like have sex with anyone until that, or explore anything. And so the total opposite of just like having all the freedom in the world and still these committed relationships between people that care about each other is just like so exciting to me. It allows me to feel every day like a reassurance of freedom from that old ideology. I still worry sometimes like that I'll be sucked back and like trapped down into that kind of like, for lack of a better word, like housewife thing. But every day remembering that I'm polyamorous and like actively practicing it with my partners is like a huge way that I feel free from that. So it took me like a year and a bit of being polyamorous to actually read any books about it. I'd not recommend that. I made a lot of mistakes along the way, and I'm sure I'll make tons more. But about a year into it, I started reading this book, and I was having some issues, and it covers so many different like poly issues and like different ways to deal with different kinds of things, different kinds of polyamory. Been enjoying it. It's super queer positive as well, and super kink positive, if that's important to you. And it is important to me. I think I read 12 books last year, so that would be like one every month. That's pretty cool, considering the fact that I had like several different jobs and moved several different times and had published 2 books and had a lot of other things going on. But yeah, I don't really like make a goal anymore of like how many books to read a year or how many books to read a month. I just make a goal to like read every night or read every morning, and read as opposed to watching TV sometimes, so that it's better health for myself. However, in this next year, I do want to read more adult fiction and also more like nonfiction about polyamory, about world issues, about politics, about history, things like that. I'm a lot more interested in that stuff now than I was, and I'm a lot more interested in reading some adult fiction, so we'll see how that goes. I also have some more books that I still need to read. I still need to read The Host, for instance. I hope you enjoyed. Tell me in the comments below if you're an ex-conservative or if you're a conservative, books that you like reading or want to read, and are not really supposed to, or don't feel like your conservative community would allow. And you know, I'll see you in the next video. Until next time, always remember that we are epic heroes, today and every day of our lives. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!